I was a little afraid something like that might happen. Houston, I think we have a problem here. Whoa! That thing flew apart in 4 pieces. I bought the world's cheapest knife for only 1 penny off Amazon. We need to find out if it's worth it. To do that, we're gonna test 3 things. How good is the build quality? Is it sharp? And will it survive our brutal testing process? My name's Kyle Royer, and you're watching Worth It. Let's take a look at the build construction of this knife. The knife itself is really cool. It's actually an automatic knife, so it's got a button here on the side. You hit that button, and the blade is got a spring in there somewhere, and it just flings it right open. And I think that's really cool, especially for a knife that's only 1 penny. I will say this little mechanism here, that is the safety lock. It wiggles and moves around so much that if you put this in your pocket, that could easily get moved over, and then this thing could accidentally go off in your pocket, possibly causing some major damage to your leg. Probably don't want to put it in your pocket. The mechanism in this thing is pretty sketchy. The blade wobbles a lot side to side. I imagine if you open and close this thing too many times, at some point something's gonna go wrong and it's gonna fly apart or cease to function. Ow. Something I really like about this knife is also the shape of the bolster right here where it fits up to the handle scale. I like how it's got this cool curvy fit up instead of just a flat fit up. That's a nice little touch of detail. Besides that, I don't really like the way anything else on this knife looks. So my final score for the build construction on this knife is gonna be a 1 out of 10. Now let's see if this 1 penny knife is sharp by cutting a chicken tender with really tough skin. I'm having to apply quite a bit of force. I'm feeling like it's not really very sharp. Let's try it on a piece of paper. Probably won't even get it to start, really. Yeah, no, it's not really cutting paper too very well, I would say. Definitely not very sharp from the factory. This 1 penny knife needs some help. I'm over at the Broadbeck sharpener. I'm gonna try to see if we can get this thing troll hair popping sharp. I'm gonna start out with 120 grit and move all the way up to 1200 grit and finish out with a leather stroke that has some buffing compound. I finished sharpening my 1 penny folder at the Broadbeck. Let's see if it'll cut some troll hairs. It cuts troll hair pretty well. Let's try out our paper sheet now. I was able to get it pretty sharp. I mean, it cuts paper way better than it did before. It was just tearing into the paper. Let's go do some more cutting and have some fun with this thing. We're over in the tomato dropping zone. I've got the knife clamped up in a vise to hold it still. We're gonna drop some tomatoes on the blade and see if gravity can do some cutting. Oh, right down the middle. Let's see how it cuts the free hanging cucumber. Woohoo! Whoa! Oh yeah, definitely cuts cucumber. Things are about to get messy, so I'm at the outdoor cutting area. Let's see if we can cut this soda bottle. Pressurized and ready to go. Oh! Okay, I was a little afraid something like that might happen, and probably should have not done it. Houston, I think we have a problem here. I don't think it's supposed to open that far. That kind of looks bad to me. Oh, there we go. Does it close? Okay. Never mind, it's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, oh ow! No, everything's fine. It just opens to that point now. It's not safe to chop on anything or cut anything hard with this, so let's just drop it on this pressurized soda bottle and see what happens. Probably gonna bounce off and hit me in the leg. Nope. It's not really safe to do anything heavy duty with this knife anymore because of this problem. I'm gonna fix it up real quick with a little bit of duct tape and we'll do some light slicing. I've got some corn here. Let's see if we can remove the kernels. I think this new handle is definitely more comfortable than the old one. I'm gonna see if the knife will hold an edge okay, just with some rope here. I'm gonna cut it 100 times and see how it does after that. I cut through the rope 100 times just in this little area of the blade right here. It feels like it's lost a lot of its edge. Feels like it's dulled a little bit. We'll try the paper out again. I'm just gonna mostly try the paper right in that area that I was doing the rope. It's not liking the paper. I can't even get it to start in the paper right there. If I go further back on the blade where I didn't really cut much, it's probably sharp there. Yeah, I definitely would have expected a good quality knife to hold a better edge than that, just cutting this super small diameter rope 100 times. So it's not a good sign that it's that dull after just cutting that rope. For the final sharpness test, I've got a real frozen chicken here, and we're gonna see if it'll cut the skin. It's pretty thick. It ended up cutting through the frozen chicken, but it did not like it. It was very, very hard. The chicken suffered greatly as I was trying to remove its head. Did get through it eventually though. For the final sharpness score on this blade, I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10. And now it's time to see if it'll survive the dishwasher. It's the next day. I just took this knife out of the dishwasher. It was probably in there for about 3 hours. I set the dishwasher to a brutal pots and pan, high temperature, sanitize, rinse, all the settings. As far as the blade and stuff goes, the stainless steel components seem to be fine on this folder. I will say the dishwasher definitely discolored the wood handle a lot. The dye or whatever that was in the wood is faded tremendously, and the wood looks like if it was put through the dishwasher a couple more times, it would start to look really, really white. I'm gonna take this 1 penny folder apart and see what the inside looks like. Got regular Phillips screws, it looks like. Everything looks pretty normal right there. I'm gonna remove the flashlight. Next, I'll remove this front bolster. There's probably gonna be a spring come flying out at some point. There's a little spring right there. So here's how the little safety mechanism works. You can see this can move up and down right here. So the safety mechanism will lock the blade open or close. When you move it up, it makes it so the button that releases the blade can't move. There's a little lip right there. And then when it's down, it's out of the way so that button can move in and out. You can see the coil spring right here that actually makes the blade fly open. There's a little tiny nub down inside of there that catches on the bolster. And there's another tiny little nub right here that you hook onto this hole on the blade. And then as I close this, it's winding that spring up. You see now? The spring is giving the blade quite a bit of power to fly open. It's actually a really simple mechanism, but it works really well. This is the little thumb release button, and there's a spring that goes below it to give it some nice tension. So this holds the blade from opening when it's in this position, and then when I push down on that button, it gets to that wider open area and it lets the blade open up right there. And then you can see when it gets to that closed position, it'll move over a little bit and keep the blade from opening. Push it and it can open up. Now what holds the blade locked in the open position? Well, there's a little rounded groove right here on the end of the blade. And when you get to the lock position, this little button opens up a little bit. It comes out from that spring pressure that it has, and it's supposed to hold the blade locked open right there. The problem is, it's just the very edge of that little button that catches on it. So when I went to cut on the soda bottle earlier, it broke the edge of that button a little bit and made it so the blade could just open all the way up to that position. Even though the mechanism is really cool, it didn't function very well since everything is so loose and wobbly inside of there. I just did that one bottle cut and it broke past the little button and opened up to that position. I've got the folder blade clamped up in the vise. I've got vice grip on the other end of it. Let's see how tough it is by bending it over and breaking it. Whoa! Whoa! That thing flew apart in 4 pieces. Wow, that stainless seemed to be really brittle. I've never broken a knife blade and had it break into 4 separate pieces like this before. The handle scales seem kind of dried out from the dishwasher. They don't seem like they're in a happy state. Let's see if it breaks off. Yeah, that broke real easy. Whatever this stainless steel the blade is made of isn't very good, I'm gonna say, or it's not been heat treated very well, because the blade broke in 4 different places, went flying all over the shop when I went to break the blade. For the final overall score of this 1 penny folder, I'm gonna have to give it a 1 out of 10. So for 1 penny, plus $10.99 shipping, is this knife worth it? I'm gonna say yes, this knife was totally worth it. It was so much fun. It only got a score of 1 out of 10 overall, but it's a really, really fun knife to just sit there and open and close. You might not be able to open and close it as many times as I did because the quality's so bad that it might break before you even open and close it very many times. As a kid, I would have loved to have an automatic folder like this just to sit there and open and close it and like take it apart and try to figure out the mechanism and get my brain turning. Even now, as a grown adult who's made automatic knives, I still find it really cool and I like opening and closing them no matter what the price. I will see you in the next video. May the forge be with you. Bye-bye.